Hello, welcome to JOL, a Joy of Learning class. I'm one of the pastors here, and I want to thank you for joining us for this English conversation class. Unfortunately, we could not start out in person like we would have wanted to due to the COVID-19 situation. But we are thankful that you are still going to join us to try to continue to grow in your ability to speak and comprehend the English language. Each time, someone will give a short devotional thought or some type of teaching. I will bring some type of teaching. I'm hoping that the teachings I bring will help you to learn English, but also might be helpful for you. So this morning's topic that I'm doing is cyberbullied. There is so much to being, receiving, watching bullying. It is very complicated. It is very difficult to deal with because there is no simple answers. But this morning I want to focus specifically on one new type of bullying, which is being cyberbullied. Even if you are sheltered in place still and your school is doing distance learning, one thing about being cyberbullied is that it doesn't matter if they're at school or not, whether they're out or at home. As long as they have a tech device and can get online, it is possible to be a cyberbully, to be bullied over the internet, or to be someone watching it transpire. So all the students are affected one way or another by cyber bullies. This morning I'm only going to focus on one thing. Some signs of being cyberbullied. Now it's difficult to really grasp all of it because when kids grow and they become teenagers and their hormones and things begin to happen, they begin to change naturally anyway. But certain changes that come naturally are happening. Sometimes there's some other stuff that may be happening. It's good for parents to be aware of the possibilities. But one thing that happens is when a child is being cyberbullied, so if they're being the bullied online, they're going to have sometimes problems sleeping. You probably won't see that because they'll be in the room, but they'll be tossing, turning, they'll be tired throughout the day, they'll sort of be out of rhythm, out of sync, and they have trouble sleeping simply because they're worried of what they heard, what went on during the day, and they're afraid of what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to be said, what's going to be done online. So sleep becomes hard. Changes in eating habits. Obviously, if you're not sleeping right and your eating habits begin to change. You may not eat as much. You may eat at different times. It's just because they're worried. They're anxious. They're nervous. They're trying to figure out how to deal with this. When you're like that, you sort of can't eat at those moments. You're sort of like out of sync and out of rhythm. And so like I said, they're growing, they're changing, things are happening. So it's hard to know. But sometimes this comes into play. They're sort of like not eating really. And sometimes their parents are like, eat, you gotta eat, it's right now, it's dinner time, it's lunchtime, right? But then sometimes it doesn't work so simple for them because they're just not hungry. Because something is on their mind. And as they become teenagers, a lot of things are on their mind. School, grades, and all these other things are happening. But when one is being cyberbullied, it becomes much more even possibly intense. It depends on the child, depends on how they are dealing and working with it. There's lots of interesting activities they enjoy to do. All of a sudden, they don't want to do things they used to like to do. Begins to be a little bit more of a sign because problem sleeping, teenagers could be, definitely. They're just going to stay up later and wake up later, and it's going to be natural body rhythm. Change in eating habits, yeah, teenagers, if you start changing, that happens. But when they start losing interest in things and activities they enjoy doing, sort of a sign. You know, you say, let's go out. And they're down, they don't want to get out of bed, they're sort of moping around, they don't want to do anything, and you're trying to take them and get them up, and you offer them the best favorite food. You offer to take them and do something they like to do, and they don't want to do it. Possible signs of being bullied, even cyberbullied. See, like it's complicated. Some of these things go over with, just being bullied. But right now, a lot of kids aren't in school, so it's not happening physically or verbally right in front of everybody. But it can be happening over the internet. And there's an aggravation on tech device. What happens is when they're like angry before they get on tech device, or nervous. They're angry when they're on the tech device. They're angry after, and something's going on. You like to ask them what's going on. They say, I don't want to talk about it. And you start hitting the keys hard, and they're starting to stare at it. You begin to wonder why. And they're not even playing a game. It's not a game. They're doing something. There's something on social media that's going on, and they're upset. They're angry. And you look, they're not necessarily doing schoolwork, so it's not their grades. You see, it's complicated. Signs are complicated. They're just sort of things that sort of catch us and sort of make a parent aware of what's going on. So when someone is being cyberbullied, what can you do? What can you say? Well, my time is up. So maybe you can discuss that with your friends. Discuss that in your English class. For this morning, in English comprehension, why not mention this to your teachers? I comprehended, which means I understood, maybe about 25% of today's talk. Maybe about 50% of today's talk. Maybe about 75% of today's talk. Or maybe almost everything. I don't know where you are in your English capabilities, but our hope is as you go through this year, it will continue to grow and increase, and your English conversational skills will improve. Have a good class.